Okay, I'm going to show you a video of two different riders and you tell me which one's more confident. Today I wanted to share with you guys my #1 piece of advice for riders who want to improve their riding. It is the building block that goes towards all other aspects of riding. You need to master this before you even try to jump, before you can corner correctly, and before you can ride more technical terrain. The example in clip A is a rider who has terrible neutral position. Their legs are straight, they're stiff everywhere, their eyes are down, their elbows are in, and they have nowhere to move on their bike. They're just taking impacts without really being able to adjust for what they're riding over. Whereas the rider in position B has their eyes forward, their shoulders are squared out, and their elbows are squared out. They're looking farther ahead, their legs are slightly bent, and their pedals are level. This allows the rider to move over the bike and allows them to position themselves best to encounter difficult terrain. This building block is learning how to maintain an aggressive neutral position on the bike. This is a strong athletic stance that should be practiced as often as you can. At first, it's going to be something you're going to have to really think about, but the more you do it, the more it'll just become habit and natural. And this position is so powerful, especially when you're a new or beginner rider or you're wanting to improve, because it allows you to really flow with the terrain you're riding over rather than just take it. You become a driver rather than a passenger. But holding this stance is not enough. If you just stand in this stance and take impacts, you're still going to feel out of control and you're still going to feel and wonder why you can't ride faster. This stance is the neutral stance. It's not the stance you should be holding 100% of the time. When a spring is compressed and then released back, it goes to what is called an equilibrium position. That's what this aggressive stance is. It's the equilibrium state. How are you going to be sitting on the bike when nothing's happening, when you're not encountering an obstacle? Now, this aggressive neutral position allows you to move the bike underneath you while keeping your torso and your head stable over anything you're going over. The idea is to produce a gimbal-like effect for your upper body and torso, and this is where your confidence is going to come from. This is where your vision isn't going to get shaken as you're going down the trail, and you're going to actually be able to watch things come to you, and the trail will slow down. This position allows you to prepare for big landings, be able to pick up and over obstacles, as well as prepare for big, steep, and technical obstacles. Yes, question in the back.
Isn't that why I bought a bike with big shocks?
No, this is not what your suspension is for. In fact, I recommend to most beginning riders that to ride a hardtail for this exact purpose. Riding a hardtail bike forces you to learn this position intuitively, whereas full suspension bikes can cause you to not use the position and just trust your suspension too much. Full suspension bikes only enhance good form and good technique rather than make up for having bad technique. Unfortunately, it's true. The most capable bike you can buy cannot make up for your inability to flow with terrain. This position is best learned at a pump track or anything that is nice and flowy that's not intimidating. Practice pulling the bars to your chest as you're moving up the front side of the obstacle and then lifting your feet and pushing down the bottom side. Now, you know you're going to be doing this form correctly when it feels like your head and torso aren't moving. Here's a super exaggerated example of me trying to hold my head and torso perfectly still as the bike just articulates underneath me. And that is the whole idea. You want the bike to move and not know. Again, keep your torso and your head as stable as possible. And once you're done with the obstacle or the corner, you're going to once again return to that aggressive neutral position. Your ability to allow the bike to move underneath you is the difference between becoming a confident rider and an unconfident rider. It's going to be the difference between you being able to learn how to jump correctly and your ability to not be able to jump. That's stupid. Learning this position will be the difference between learning how to jump correctly and not being able to jump correctly. And once you master this position, you'll find yourself flying over obstacles that you've had trouble with in the past. Parts of the trail that you ride every day that used to terrify you will seem easy and slow, even though you're riding it twice as fast. Now that you guys have a good foundation, it's time to go take this to the trail. And if you live in the Salt Lake area, here's a perfect trail for you guys to go and try and take this technique out. Peace, everybody. We did.